Hello and welcome. Today we've got Michael Jaco, former CIA and Navy SEAL. And today we are going to be discussing how the white hat military are preventing World War III and how Trump is possibly coming back. Now, just before we begin, you can subscribe to my Instagram channel at Nicholas.Veniamin, where you can follow all my daily news reels. Michael, thank you so much for joining me. How are you and what have you been up to?
Doing really well. Just doing a little vacation down in Mexico right now. It's beautiful. It's people here are nice. There's no crime wave going on down here like it is in the U.S. So I'm pretty happy.
That's good. It looks lovely where you are. I can see like an ocean behind you and some palm trees, but you're high. I can see it's covered by the lovely linen curtains.
Yeah. It's too much light. If I don't have that, it's too much light and I get washed out. I'll be like in shadow. So
of course. Okay.
I know a lot of people think I'm a clone, but I'm not. This is really me. So
yeah, that was very interesting. I saw that on your Twitter. Somebody was saying that you're a clone, and it's just crazy stuff with what's going on around,
Right.
So moving on. So how is the White Hat's military preventing World War III?
So we've seen the escalation that happened with Ukraine. Basically, the Biden administration, we'll call them the Black Hats, basically shipped a lot of money and a lot of supplies along with NATO into Ukraine, thinking that they were just going to roll over the Russians. I think that before Trump left, I think that Putin and Trump had basically a deal. They discussed this possibility and this probability of once Trump stepped back, that the deep state would come in and start to invade, or that he would have to push back on the deep state. So this is what we're seeing right now. I think it's a coordinated event. Now the deep state, Biden administration, NATO wanted to start World War III because they see that they're being taken down. So we've been discussing this and how their money-making machine is basically drying up. The U.S. military, being the arm of the deep state, as we all know, is being taken down as well behind the scenes. So I think they're working their way up behind the scenes and taking out a lot of the people that are in charge. I've heard that there's admirals that are in the Mediterranean right now that are not listening to deep state commands. They're waiting for the commander in chief, who they see as Donald Trump, to give them orders. So that's another arm of this, keeping things under wraps, as far as like not letting the deep state get out of control and start a World War III. So we saw them fail in Ukraine. Everything they could throw at Ukraine has basically, not done anything. The Russians have held the line. And they basically decimated the Ukrainian military and the NATO war machine. So they had to start something else. They couldn't get a World War III out of that, so they tried to start another World War III in Israel. So that's not working out for them either right now. So a lot of the infiltration that we've seen, sleeper cells and so forth throughout the United States and in Europe and so forth, Black Lives Matter, Antifa. A lot of those cells have been cleaned up behind the scenes. So you're really not seeing much from them. Mm-hmm. So you're seeing a lot of people that are like, hey, we need to support the Palestinians because, Israel's coming in and decimating them. And that is failing as well. So what I see is the good guy, the white hat military of Israel. Of course, there's a black hat side too, is going in and basically destroying the black hat side of Israel, which is Hamas. So they're destroying them in their tunnels on the surface and so forth. And in the meantime, you have the black hats just bombing the hell out of the citizens of Palestine and trying to get the world to turn against Israel. So it's a back and forth. We've seen that throughout the last several years. But they're failing. They're failing on every single level.
Is this why you're saying that Israel is, that it's not working out for them? Is that what you're saying? The deep state, that is?
Oh, yeah. Same thing with the United States deep state. People are pushing back on it. There's some polls that have gone out as far as like how many people support Joe Biden. It's like 10% here in the United States now, the real polls. Of course, those are people that are just they support the Democrat Party. They don't really support Joe Biden. I don't think anybody supports Joe Biden at this point. So that side of the deep state is falling apart. Their money-making machine, through human trafficking, which is multi-trillion-dollar business for them, is basically drying up. A lot of different organizations are pushing back and shutting them down on their human trafficking, child trafficking, and so forth. A lot of hospitals that were involved at one point are starting to turn back over to good, practices. So we're seeing basically, a massive wave against the deep state, their money-making machine. And one of their control mechanisms, which was a U.S. military, Black Hat military, is basically being taken down from behind the scenes, and their leadership is almost completely taken out.
Do you think that the reason why Joe Biden's only got 10% on the polls, I think that's what you said, do you think that's even the 10% that Joe Biden has, do you think that even could be rigged by lobbyists and deep staters?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And like I said, it's not really people that are supporting Joe Biden, but the old Democrat Party. The old Democrat Party is falling completely apart. People are leaving that. The same with the Republican Party. I don't think there will be any parties going forward. It'll be like, whoever is the best candidate to serve the people. So a lot of these government organizations, you look at CIA, FBI, Homeland Defense, all these different organizations basically were designed to control the population of the United States. And then, of course, we have MI6 and so forth, Mossad, all these other security organizations and groups that are designed to control the rest of the population of the world. You look at, our FDA and Food and Drug Administration and all, the World Health Organization. These are all organizations designed with the negative aspect of the health industry to control, manipulate, and destroy humanity as well. And those are being taken down.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. Well, what do you think about Robert F. Kennedy? Robert Kennedy, because I heard that his family are very strong liberals.
Yeah, I mean that's every indication that is true. Now, and what part of that are they just doing that to maintain a semblance of power so that it can still exist? We see a lot. I've seen a lot of people, especially like Hollywood actors. You look at Dwayne Johnson. He's, everybody's saying that he should run for president, and he's not. He's like, well, I'm against the GOP, but he acts like a Republican. So you can't pick sides at this point. So some of these people are picking sides. So the Kennedy group, they need to stop playing one side or trying to play both sides. So that's what he's trying to be, middle of the road and play both sides. Everyone at some point has got to pick a side, because that way we know who are the bad guys and who are the good guys. So that's been happening. A lot of them have been exposed. So I used to see that when I was in the military and the CIA. There were most of us that were good could see the people that were bad and were manipulating things. And I think that is going to be that's going to be reversed. So the good people are going to rise to the top, which is already happening, I believe, from what I'm hearing behind the scenes. And I've heard this for years now. And then we're going to see a lot of those people that have been, put in positions of power are losing those positions of power across the board in we're going to see a massive, massive collapse of this old deep state system. It's not the end of the world. It's the beginning of a new world, a new, civilization, a new way of thinking, a new way of, conducting business. And so forth. So the collapsing of these systems for some people is going to seem, very harmful, very, very frightening. But if you're paying attention, all the stuff that we've been putting out for years now, most of us that are in this community and trying to help people wake up to this fact, you're not going to be caught blindsided, and you're going to be able to roll with the punches and, the heavy seas and so forth. You're going to like trim your sails, and you're going to get through this, and you're going to unfurl your sails again. And when the seas are nice and the sun comes back out, which is going to come out, at some point, just like it's kind of, cloudy here right now. Certain times of the day, it's just beautiful and sunny. You go out and you get the sun during those time frames. And when it's not, you just come back inside and have nice little get-togethers like we're having, and everything works out great because we're waking everybody up. It's not that big of a deal, I see, but people are trying to make it into one. There's no reason to have fear. There's no reason to have hate, anxiety, and so forth, because we know what's coming. We know these people, these organizations, and so forth, are collapsing. We do not want them to be there anymore, because just like here where I'm at in Mexico, if you look at the greater aspect of Mexico, that used to be controlled by the Mayans who sacrificed children. So we know that the people basically rose up against them, and then they were replaced with someone who was almost as evil, which is a Spanish, and in some cases probably even more so. So we're seeing that system collapse here in Mexico. So all of the different systems that have controlled us throughout time, throughout the world, whatever they are, because they come in different ways, like an octopus. A lot of us think that here we have this one arm of the octopus and we're fighting that, and we're fighting, the real thing that's causing the problem. But no, the head of the octopus is where we need to be. So many of us are starting to focus on the head of the octopus, and knowing that this the tentacles of the deep state can have harm. We're learning how to move around them and not let them take control of us and squeeze us, and focus on the head. Take out the head of this thing, and then we're going to be finished with this thing forever.
So when you say, the collapse, we're going to have a big collapse, a new system. What do you think the first collapse is going to be? Do you think it will be the banking system? What do you think it will be?
Yeah, that's everybody's best guess, that the banking system will collapse, and they will probably try and collapse the system to garner more control again. So right now that system. Well, last year the system was basically on its last legs and was collapsing, and they were able to get one last gasp in, I believe, and keep the system afloat, keep a facade. Everybody thinks if the stock market's rising, everything's good. Everything is collapsing. The banks I've seen banks closing everywhere. Every single, you look at Wells Fargo. I've seen many Wells Fargo banks closing. Chase, America, all the different banks. So every bank.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because I've seen the same. I've seen banks close, but some could argue that, the deep state want the banks to close because we're going to go cashless and everything's going to be digital. So you could look at it that way. So what do you say about that?
Well, it's basically trying to continue the system. That was going to happen, but we're taking down the system behind the scenes. So if as a warrior, I'm taking down the enemy's, their colonels, their generals, and so forth behind the scene. You have one head general and so forth. They've already had these plans of how they're going to advance. That one general doesn't know that everybody behind him is gone, so he's still advancing. And he's advancing into basically us, and we're basically going to decimate them. So that's what's happening with the banking system. Now, the banking system, so we're onto them. We're onto their facade. We're onto their manipulation of a system. Now, that digital banking system, there are positive aspects of that, which will go forward. So just like everything else, like you have the deep state military and you have the good guy military, you have good people in politics, and you have quite a lot of people that are bad in politics. All of this is basically coming to a head. So all of the people that have been and are bad, many of them have been taken out. Like we look at Joe Biden, that's not Joe Biden. And many people, bad actors that have been bad actors in the front, are gone. We don't even hear or see them anymore. So And if they are around, like a Hillary Clinton, whoever's playing Hillary Clinton looks 35 years younger than the old hag of a Hillary Clinton, because she was not very good looking there towards the end. So we're seeing, this facade that's been kept up. Some of that facade has been kept up by the white hats, so they can continue their operations in the background, so that all the other bad actors don't realize that the game is done. They're basically on a train that all of the cars behind them have been unlatched, and so there's just one train. The train itself, and maybe a caboose, is basically going forward, and everything else, all the other cars are gone, and they don't realize it. So that's kind of the analogy that I look at when I see this stuff.
You mentioned something earlier before we started the recording. You mentioned that Trump will be reinstated, and this was a post that was dropped by the 17th letter of the alphabet Q. Why don't you tell us more about what you think about that?
Yeah, you can go to qofficial.net, and on there it has Q, and I don't know if that's directly connected to Q or not, but it says nothing can stop what is coming. Blackout necessary, a week to remember. Mm-hmm. So that continues. That's been changing. That last lettering, before it was something else. Now it's down to 7 days and 23 hours, 39 minutes. So it's clicking down. So anyone can go and look at that. That's one option, one idea of what's going on out there. So another thing that's happening in the U.S. Capitol, the Capitol Police, which I know that there are good Capitol Police, and maybe not actual Capitol Police involved with the Capitol, but Washington D.C. Police. I have had interactions with them, and they're outstanding, really outstanding officers. And then you have a National Guard. They have been doing exercises there in D.C. In the middle of the night. So are they preparing for this one event, whatever that is, whether it's Trump coming back, which I strongly believe is going to happen very soon, or is it something else? We've made these predictions before. I hate to say, absolutely Trump's going to return. I don't know, but it looks to me, when I look at the bigger picture, when I look at the collapsing of the banking system, which is absolute, and no one can argue about that because the evidence is there, that they no longer can do loans anymore because they don't have the money anymore. All they can do is rob those people that are, still have money within their accounts, and try and get money, try and siphon bloodlet and vampire whatever money that people have in there. That's what they're down to. So you need a new system to come in very soon to at least keep some kind of semblance going, I think, into the future. Mm-hmm. So the banking system, and then a digital system will probably be the future, but the old banking system is, in my opinion, already collapsed. It's already done. Just a facade, just like everything else is out there right now.
Absolutely. Well, Michael, Jaco, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been an absolute honor, like always. Is there anything else that you'd like to say to the viewers before we finish?
Yeah, just stay positive, stay in the love vibration. Love vibration is the most powerful force in the universe. It beats everything that's negative that the deep state has been doing. I think that a lot of people have been going to the love vibration because we see the results of it. I mean, the deep state is collapsing. So, booyah, keep it up.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much, Michael. And we'll speak again very soon. You take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.